Hello. I'm going to start this practice by just asking everyone to call attention to themselves. It's a weird time, and I think it's important when you start your day, or when you end your day, or when you're in the middle of your day, or when you're sort of about to stare into the abyss. Just remember these few things. One, it's really weird, but I got this from a book, and it makes me feel super awkward, and I do it still. But just repeat after me. Ready? I am a divine being. I am a divine being. Right? Look in the mirror and do it. It's great. 2, repeat after me. I have strength. I have strength. I am strength. I am strength. Ready for the third one? Here we go. This one's important. They're all important. I don't know. Ready? This is my reality. I cannot always control my reality. I can always control how I respond to my reality. This is my reality. I cannot always control my reality. I can always control how I respond to my reality. This is my reality. I cannot always control my reality. I can always control how I respond to my reality. Mantras, baby. Let's get started. And when you are ready, you can allow your eyes to softly open, and we will begin our practice. From Easy Pose, you can pull a towel out from beneath your bottom if you had it there, and go ahead and roll back to a laying position, bringing the soles of your feet to the ceiling. And let's just pause here for a second. Bend your knees, bringing your right hand to your right kneecap, straightening your left leg, and grabbing the big toe of your left foot with your left peace fingers, or wrapping a strap around the ball mount of your left foot. Inhale, and as you exhale, drop your legs in opposite directions, finding a little bit of a hip opening stretch here. On your next inhale, you can bring your legs back to center, switch to a bent left leg and a straight right leg. Bring your left hand to your left kneecap, bring your toes or a strap to your right foot, and as you exhale, dropping those legs in opposite directions once again. Breathing into it. And on your next inhale, you can bring your legs back into center, bend your right knee so that you have 2 bent knees now, and then rock and roll to a seated position. You can put a blanket underneath your bum so you're sort of perched on the edge of that blanket, and go ahead and sit in Easy Pose, stretching up high to the sky on an inhale, and on an exhale, dropping that left hand to the floor next to your left hip, reaching over with your right arm, and finding a lovely lateral stretch. Activating the left side body, stretching the right side body. And inhale, coming back to center. And on an exhale, you're going to drop your right arm to the space next to your right hip and reach over with your left hand. Stretching the left this time, activating the right. Making sure those hips are grounded to the earth, they're not lifted up. Inhale, come back to center. And on an exhale, we're going to circle the left arm back and land it to the space behind your hips, stepping your left hip back and bringing your right hand to your left knee, twisting to the left. Lengthening the spine in the inhale, deepening the twist in the exhale. Exhale, come back to center. And on an inhale, stretch up high to the sky. Exhaling and twisting to the right, bringing that right hand to the space behind your right hip and your left hand to your right knee. On your next exhale, go ahead and untwist, coming back to center, stretching up high to the sky, and coming down through prayer, hands to knees. Straighten your legs on both sides, bringing them to a wide-legged position. Seat grounded to the earth, stretch up high to the sky, turn your torso to the right, and hinge forward, reaching for that right toe. If you can't grab your toe, you can use a strap to wrap around the ball mount of your foot. Inhale, come back to center, and as you exhale, turn your torso to the left this time, hinging forward and reaching for that left toe. Inhale, coming back to center, and this time we're going to come down through prayer and fold forward to the center. If you want to land on a block or a bolster, that's grand. If you want to prop yourself up on your hands, that's grand. Go as far as you can with a straight back, and then if you can pass your knees with your head, go ahead and curl those shoulders forward at that point. Inhale, lifting back to center, and we'll do the whole thing again. Turning your torso to the right, and on an exhale, hinging forward, reaching for that right foot. Deepening the stretch with each exhale. Inhale, come back to center, turn that body to the left, and hinge forward, reaching for your left toe. Inhale, come back to center, and on exhale, come down through prayer, folding forward at the center of your legs, folding into the earth, folding into yourself. And on an inhale, lift back to a seated position, and we'll do fire log. The left leg is in front of you so that the left shin is parallel to the edge of the mat. So it's just a straight line in front of you, kind of like a backwards number 7. You're going to take your right leg and stack it on top of that left leg like fire logs. It's called fire log pose. Inhale, and on the exhale, you can plug your fingers into the earth and hinge forward at the hips. If you have a gap between your ankle and your knee, you can put a blanket there. You don't want to have any sort of negative space there because it can strain the knee of your top leg. On an inhale, come back to seated. Switch the legs up so that the right leg's on the bottom now and the left leg's on top of your stacked firewood. Plug those fingers into the earth, and on an exhale, hinge forward, folding forward. Inhale, sitting back up to a seated position. And we can roll over our feet now and find tabletop, which is on all fours. And we're going to start a cat-cow series. On an inhale, dropping your belly to the earth, untucking your tailbone and lifting your chin. And on an exhale, tucking that tailbone, sucking that belly towards your spine and tucking your chin. We'll do 5 of these. Around being a cow and a cat. Once you've done your 5 rounds and you found a place of stillness, we are going to step our hands to about a hand's length forward, tuck our toes, lift our hips up and back for Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Hold this for 5 breaths. Pedaling out your feet if you want. And on your next inhale, you're going to drift your bottom down and your shoulders forward to find plank. Hold that for 5 breaths. And on your next exhale, back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, go back to plank. Exhaling, going back to downward facing dog. Inhale, plank, downward facing dog, plank, downward facing dog, plank, downward dog, plank, downward dog. And from this downward dog, we're going to step our feet up about halfway, and on an exhale, reach your right arm towards the outside of your left ankle. Grabbing that outside of the left ankle if you can. You can exhale, release, bringing your right hand back to the mat. Inhale, and on an exhale, reach your left arm to the outside of your right ankle. And on your next exhale, you can bring your left hand back to the mat and walk your feet up to meet your hands for a nice deep forward fold. And bending your knees generously, curl up vertebrae by vertebrae to standing. Stretch up, Urdhva Hastasana, and come down through prayer to forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands to the earth and step your right foot back and then your left to find plank. Lower down to Bhujangasana. Exhale, release into the mat. Bring your feet back to center and press up and back for downward facing dog, stepping your left foot up and then your right. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, curl up vertebrae by vertebrae to standing. Circle the arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. On an exhale, come down through prayer. Plant your hands. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, step your left foot back and then your right foot plank. Lowering down to Bhujangasana. Inhale. And on an exhale, release. Bring your feet back to center and pressing up and back through plank to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, stepping your right foot up and then your left. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, bend your knees, curling up vertebrae by vertebrae to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. And circling your arms back this time, grasping your hands behind you, folding forward, stretching those shoulders, and release your grip. Plant your hands to the earth. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release. Step your right foot back and then your left foot plank. Press into our right palm, bringing our body to the side. Left arm extended towards the sky. The side of your right foot is in contact with the earth. The left foot is either on top of that right foot or stepped in front of you with the bent knee like a little kickstand. Exhale, release back to plank. Lowering down, untuck your toes. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes back, press up through plank to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left foot up and then your right. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, curl up to find Urdhva Hastasana. And on an exhale, we're going to circle our hands backwards again, grasping them behind us, this time with the opposite thumb on top. And as you exhale, hinging forward at the hips. Drop your hands to the earth, stepping your left foot back and then your right to find plank. Grounding that left palm into the earth this time. You can kick your right leg in front of you like a little kickstand or stack it on top of your left and find side plank. Exhale, releasing that right hand back into the earth and lowering down for Bhujangasana on an inhale. Exhale, release, tuck those toes back and press up for Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Step your right foot up and then your left. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, curl up vertebrae by vertebrae to standing and then stretching up high to Urdhva Hastasana. Come down through prayer, bending your knees and sitting back like you're sitting in a chair. Straighten those knees, bending the rest of the way for forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. And then step or jump back to plank, lowering through chaturanga to upward facing dog and then downward facing dog, or bhujangasana to downward facing dog. Lift your right foot up on an inhale, and on an exhale, bring that knee into the chest, stepping your right foot into the space between your hands, and then bringing that left foot up a little bit and turning it at a 45-degree angle, cartwheeling your arms up for Warrior 2. Drifting that left hand back towards your left thigh for Peaceful Warrior. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, come back to center, straightening that front knee and bending back down again for triangle pose. Inhale, come back to center. Find Warrior 2 again. And from here, we are going to drift backwards, straightening our front knee and bending our back knee for Rainbow Warrior. Inhale, come back to Warrior 2 and cartwheel your arms down, stepping your right foot back to meet your left for plank, and then traveling through your Vinyasana. To Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, lift your left foot up, tucking that knee into your chest and stepping in space between your hands. Bringing that back foot up a little bit and turning it at an angle, cartwheeling your arms up for Warrior 2. Exhale, drifting back to Peaceful Warrior. Inhale back to center, exhale down to side angle. Inhale back to center, straightening that front knee and then drifting down to triangle. Inhale, come back to center, find Warrior 2 again, and then straightening that front leg and bending the back leg, find Rainbow Warrior. Inhale, come back to center to Warrior 2, and then cartwheel your hands down, stepping your left foot back to meet your right, lowering through your Vinyasana to downward facing dog, and then step or jump back to your hands. Inhale, lift halfway up, exhale, release. Inhale, curl up vertebrae by vertebrae to standing, circling your arms back, stretching up high to the sky, and then coming down through prayer like you're sitting in a chair. And then on an exhale, straightening those knees and folding forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands to the earth and step or jump back to plank. Lowering through your Vinyasana to find eventually downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting your right foot up, and on an exhale, stepping in the space between your hands, bringing your back foot up a little bit and cartwheeling your hands up for Warrior 2. On an exhale, drift back to Peaceful Warrior. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, come back to center, straightening that front knee. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, come back to center. Find Warrior 2 again, and then rock back to Rainbow Warrior. Inhale, coming back to Warrior 2, and on an exhale, you're going to cartwheel your hands down, stepping your right foot back to meet your left, lowering through your Vinyasana, doing all that stuff. Finding your breath and your rhythm to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left foot up, and then on an exhale, step in the space between your hands and cartwheeling your hands up to Warrior 2. Exhale, Peaceful Warrior. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, center. Find Warrior 2 again, and then Rainbow Warrior. Inhale, coming back to Warrior 2, and then cartwheel your hands down to find, stepping your left foot back to meet your right to find plank, and then traveling through your Vinyasana, stepping or to downward facing dog, and then stepping or jumping your feet to meet your hands. Inhale, lift halfway up, exhale, release. Inhale, curl up vertebrae by vertebrae to standing. Stretching up high and then coming down through prayer once again to chair. On an exhale, straightening those knees and folding forward the rest of the way. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release into the earth. And step or jump back to plank. Lower your knees to the ground, bringing your knees to the long edges of the mat. And sit your bottom back to your heels for child's pose. Inhaling, coming back to tabletop, and then grabbing a block and on your knees, sitting the block to the right of your body. Lift your hips up, scoot your hips to the right so that your right butt cheeks land on the block and your left is kind of resting on your heel. Stretch up on an inhale, and on an exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Bringing your left hand to the outside of your right thigh, your right hand behind you. On an exhale, undo that twist, shift your hips back to center, and then move your block to the other side, scooching your left butt cheek to that block, and on an exhale, twisting to the left, your right hand landing on the outside of that left thigh, your left arm behind you. Exhale and release, shifting those hips back to center. And from here, we're going to do camel pose. So you're going to remain on your knees, but lift your bottom up off your knees so that you are standing, like kind of standing up on your knees. We're going to start this by bringing your hands to your hips so that your thumbs are on either side of your vertebrae and your fingers are kind of flailed out, embracing your hip. And on an inhale, and imagine your spine lengthening. Back bends are all about lengthening the spine. So if you imagine that spine getting longer and longer and longer, you can see the arc begin to happen. Opening that chest, keeping that chin neutral, not reaching that chin up towards the sky, but keeping it neutral. And exhale, float back to center, and scoot your bottom to your heels for a rest. Keep your hands at your hips if you want. And on an inhale, grounding those knees and chins into the earth. Imagining the spine getting longer, opening and flaring out your rib cage. Camel pose. If you want a deeper stretch here, you can try tucking your toes and then staying sort of in that same position, reaching your hands back to your heels. Flaring that rib cage. And on an exhale, come back to center, tucking your toes again, and then sitting your bottom onto your heels. Rest here for one moment, and we're going to do one more. Breathing in and coming back to standing on your knees, as we'll call it. You can do the first version of this or the second with your toes tucked and your hands reaching back towards your heels. The main idea being lengthening that back, lengthening your vertebrae so that you can find a nice arc in your back. Exhale, coming back to standing and then sitting back onto your heels. And then eventually finding your seat back on the earth. Once you've found a seated position, you're going to bend your left leg so that your left heel is by your bum or whatever's comfortable for you. Cross your right leg over your left, landing that sole of your foot at the earth outside of your left thigh. Inhale, stretching up high to the sky. And on an exhale, circle your right arm back, stepping your right hip back, and embracing your right knee with your left arm. And on an exhale, release, switching your legs around, this time so your right leg's on the bottom, with the right heel by the left bum cheek, left leg's crossed over right. Inhale, stretching up, and on an exhale, circle that left arm back, stepping that left hip back, and finding a twist to the left. On your next exhale, you can release your twists, releasing your arms, stepping that hip back to center, and spinning around on your mat so your toes are at the top of your mat, your knees are bent, and your seat is grounded into the earth. We're going to roll back, vertebrae by vertebrae, to our laying down position with our arms teed out in front of us. Resting here for a moment, and on an inhale, lifting our heels up towards the sky again. Grasping the toes of our right foot if you can, or putting a strap around that right foot. Lower your left Inhale, and on an exhale, pull that right foot towards your face. Keeping an active left leg. Stretching the back of that right leg. Inhale, bringing your legs back to center, and then doing the other switcheroo. Grasping that left foot. Stretching the back of that leg. Inhale, coming back to center with both of your feet. Bend them and then rock and roll forward, back to a seated position. Extending your feet out in front of you with a straight leg. Stretching high to the sky on an inhale, and on an exhale, hinging forward at the hips and reaching to the space past your toes. If you can't touch your toes right now, grab a strap, put a side of the strap in either hand, and press the ball mounts of your feet against the strap. If you want a deeper stretch, put a block on the ball mounts of your feet and wrap your hands around it. Inhale, coming back up to a seated position, tossing that block aside, and rolling back once again. Once you're supine on the mat, bring your knees into your chest, embracing them, turning yourself into a little seed, a little ball, a little something. And on an inhale, slowly with control, stretching those limbs out, starfishing into Shavasana. Calling attention to your breath. The magnificent rhythm of breathing. Imagining that your body is getting heavier with each exhale. Your muscles, tendons, ligaments, bones, organs, every fiber of your being, letting go, releasing, yielding to the power of gravity, and melting into the earth. When you're ready, you can invite small movements back into your body, and larger ones. Eventually turning onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow and tucking your body into a loose fetal position. Taking your left palm and gently pressing it into the earth, lifting you back to a seated position. The light in me sees and honors the light in every single one of you. Thank you for joining me for this practice. Have a great day. You're doing good. It's fine. It's going to be fine.